stressig. Shabbat Shalom. So, do you hear me? Yes? Yes? Oh, I'm on. Just not as loud as usual. There we go. Just give it a little bit of a boost. So this lovely melody that you're hearing now, this is a version of the Baruch Hu that next week when our special guest artist Dani Massing comes, we'll be singing. It's written by a rabbi in the Galil, and the melody is quite lovely, and hopefully it will become another version of Baruch Hu that we can all adopt and enjoy singing together. But for tonight, just to make sure that we are feeling the spirit of this piece when we hear it next week, I thought it would be worth learning to sing. So the opening melody is pretty much a nigun, and it goes like this. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Let's try that a few times. Ya la 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 la, ya la la. Into the verse where we sing Baruch Hu, the melody goes like this. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Let's try that. Ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la. Just a little bit. So putting that together. Both the Baruch Hu line and the Baruch Shem line fit to that. So just to get a little bit ahead of it, Baruch Hu. That's a big breath. You can take more than one. Next line. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam Va'ed. Let's try that. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Le'olam.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
We enter what is I think one of the more difficult Torah portions that we have in Torah, Vayera, in that we are confronted with two sides of what it means to be a human being. What we're willing to save, what we're willing to sacrifice, how we negotiate that. Do we do it well? Do we miss the mark? Vayera asks tough questions of us as human beings. It asks tough questions of God. As we enter this Torah portion, I hope that we're willing to explore that in ourselves. That is what I think Vayera asks us to do. To ask yourself that question. How am I like Abraham when he argues with God? And how am I like Abraham when he's willing to sacrifice his child? It's a question that we come back to not only every year on Shabbat, Vayera, but also during the high holidays as well. Our sages thought it so important. And so, a difficult question, but I think one that is hopefully energizing for us as we discover more of who we are. And so Shabbat Shalom to us all here tonight, and Shabbat Shalom to those of you that are joining us on our live stream. It's good to have everybody with us. We continue our service on page 138, 139, Lecha Dodi. Lecha Dodi is an interesting prayer in that Shabbat comes to us, knocking, so to speak, through the doors of our sanctuary. Shabbat's here to greet us. And the question, I think, that Lecha Dodi poses to us is, will you open the door and let Shabbat in? Will you open the door and allow the Sabbath peace, the Sabbath rest, the Sabbath tranquility, the wholeness of Shabbat enter into your life tonight, tomorrow, for the next day? And so when the Sabbath bride enters tonight, on the bottom of page 139, we'll rise as we typically do and face the entrance to our sanctuary. And I hope as you do that, you're thinking, am I letting Shabbat in right now? Can I make a space in here and in here to let Shabbat in? Lecha Dodi.
Yalla la 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 Lecha Dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala, yalla la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela, yalla la 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 Lecha Dodi, yalla la 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 likrat kala, yalla la 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 b'nei Shabbat, b'nei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad hishmiranu el hamiuchad Adonai echad u'shmo echad l'shemo tiferet v'letihila. Likrat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, ki mekor
איש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה יאללה לך דודי יאללה לקראת קלה יאללה בני שבת אקבלה.
Verse 5.
התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך מגלה יאללה לך דודי יאללה לקראת קלה יאללה בני שבת אקבלה. בואי ושלום עטרת בעלה גם בשמחה וצהלה תוך אמוני עם סגולה בואי חלה יאללה לך דודי יאללה לקראת קלה יאללה בני שבת אקבלה יאללה לך דודי יאללה לקראת קלה יאללה בני שבת אקבלה.
Page 140, Mizmor Shir, Psalm 92.
מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון להגיד בבוקר חסדך ואמונתך בלילות עלי עשור ועלי נבל עלי היגיון בכינור מזמור שיר ליום השבת טוב להודות לאדוני ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך עליון ולזמר לשמך
Dave, I feel like I'm cantering through, a forest when you're playing that one. No, the energy was like on a horse cantering through the forest. Yeah.
I know that's what you meant.
Right? Yeah. Okay. Yes. Not. Yeah. No, riding the horse. We continue, I think, on page 120, 121, and invite Nancy Zabo to our bima to light our Sabbath lights.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech ha'olam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu, l'hadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. Continuing on page 144 with the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'yamad yivrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei.
B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'chayedecho Beit Yisrael. Ba'agala, ba'agala, u'vizman kariv.
Ve'imeru.
Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'alam olam me'almaya yitbarach.
V'yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata
Tush v'chata v'nechemata tamiran be'alma.
ve'imeru. Amen.
Our call to prayer and the new tune we learned can be found on page 146, the Baruch Hu. Please rise if you're able.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya 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 la 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 la. Baruch et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'orad. Baruch Adonai hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la.
Please be seated. We read together on the bottom of page 149. This is an hour of change. Within it we stand uncertain on the border of light. Shall we draw back or cross over? Where shall our hearts turn? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? This is the hour of change. and within it we stand quietly on the border of light. What lies before us? Shall we draw back, my brother, my sister, or cross over? Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. And responsively on the bottom of 151, wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol.
All these things your Torah gives to us.
And the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives.
What could be a truer token of your abiding love
than this holiest of your works in the living language that gives it form?
Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael.
Please rise once more if you're able. Shema 152.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'dvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom ha'levavecha ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך. וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Love your God with every heartbeat, with every breath, with every conscious act. Keep in mind the words I command you today. Teach them to your children. Talk about them at work, whether you are tired or you are rested. Let them guide the work of your hands. Keep them in the forefront of your vision. Do not leave them at the doorway of your house or outside your gate. They are reminders to do all of my mitzvot, so that you can be holy for God. I am Adonai your God. I led you out of Egypt to become your God. I am Adonai your God. We read responsively on the bottom of page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth.
The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love.
From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way.
Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces.
Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed.
Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be at one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea.
Yichamocha.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקי הים לפני משה ומרים, זלי, זלי, אנו ויאמרו, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגאלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל.
Let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up, waiting to do your will. The top of page 160, Hashkivenu.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Ushmor tzeitzenu uvoenu l'chaim u'shalom me'ata ve'ad olam. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomrei
Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu
Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomrei Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. If you have time on Fridays at noon, you can join our Lunch and Learn conversation that's been going on for many years before I was here. I don't know how long it's been going on here, but pretty much every Friday since I've been here as well. And we're in the midst of, we've sort of changed gears a little bit from what we were doing in the last few months, and we're reading articles from Moment Magazine called Ask the Rabbis. So it's one question posed to rabbis from different movements. There's about 6 or 7 different responses to the same question. So it's a lot of fun to read the different responses. The last week we read an article about time, about how Judaism conceives of time. And we enjoyed the conversation so much, the group said, let's stick to this for a little bit. Let's talk more about this. So this week, I brought in the first chapter of Abraham Joshua Heschel's book, The Sabbath. And if you've never read The Sabbath, you should. It's an amazing book. 100 pages that will take you many hours to read. It's the kind of He has the kind of writing you have to read paragraphs more than once. He talks in that first chapter about Shabbat being a palace in time. It maybe is an expression you've heard before. A palace in time. When we began Shabbat services by welcoming the Sabbath bride here with us, I said, Shabbat arrives. Shabbat is here knocking at your door. And the question is, will you let God in? And not only that, not only will you let God, will you let Shabbat in, but have you constructed a scaffolding to let Shabbat in? That's the challenge that Heschel offers us in that first chapter of his book. What does the scaffolding for your Shabbat look like? Some of you are here every week. That's a scaffolding. Some of you might light Shabbat candles at home every week. That's a scaffolding. Beginning to think about, how do I mark this moment and create space for peace to arrive? That's scaffolding for Shabbat. And we get every week a reminder, not from Heschel, but from our sages much older than he, and from Torah, Vishamru, page 162. Keep Shabbat. Make a scaffolding for Shabbat.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam beini uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz ubayom hashvi'i Shabbat vayinafash.
The Amidah, the central prayer of this evening's service, begins on page 164. We will chant out loud together through page 170, and then through page 180 you have options, either the Hebrew or the English, or if those words don't speak to you, that's fine. Just close your prayer book and pray the words of your own heart, your own private prayer. If you do that seated, that's fine, but if you are standing for your private prayer or the silent portion, when you're done praying, please have a seat. With that, if you're able, please rise.
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agite ilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avoteinu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, ve'Konei Hakol, ve'Zocher Chastei Avot ve'Imahot, U'mevii geula livnei v'neihem, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן,
Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham Bezrat Sarah. Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, mechayem etim atah rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach, umorid hagashem. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechayem etim berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofeh cholim. Umatir asurim, umekayem emunato, lishenei afar, michamocha bal gevurot, umido melach, melech memit umechaye, umatzliach Yeshua. ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל, ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי המתים. אתה קדוש כשמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
The middle of page 180.
יהיו לרצון אמרי פי, והגיון ליבי לפניך. Adonai tzuri, Adonai tzuri, v'goali, v'goali.
Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for the reading of Torah, begins on page 364, I believe. it is my honor to invite to our bima our VP of Finance, yes, Stephanie Newell. Please rise if you're able.
Ki mitzion tetzei Torah, ki mitzion tetzei Torah, u'devar Adonai mirushalayim. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Baruch shenatan Torah, Torah. Le'amo Yisrael b'kedushato. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shemo, Gadlul Adonai iti, Uniromima Shemo yachdav, Lecha Adonai hagedula v'hagevura v'hatiferet v'hanetzach v'hahod, ki cho b'shamayim u'va'aretz, ki cho b'shamayim u'va'aretz, lecha Adonai hamamlacha v'yamid naseh lechol erosh. Al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim, al haTorah ve'al ha'avodah ve'al gemilut chasadim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim ha'olam omed, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha devarim, al shlosha. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah.
Thank you. All right. So as
the middle of
as
the
is typical,
Akedah.
as is typical now, we We've been doing this for what, like a year and a half or so?
At least, yeah.
Of printing the section that will be read. This is the best part.
Well, that's why she chose it, I'm sure.
Yeah. The best part when Isaac gets saved. Yeah. Although also a sad part too, in a certain way, right? That in some ways it's the end of Abraham and Isaac's relationship. They never speak to each other again after coming down off the mountain. So there, it is both a happy and sad moment, I suppose. So we are calling Kathy.
Kathy, right. Ta'amod, Kathy Lesor la Aliyah la Torah.
Baruch Adonai HaMarak.
Baruch Adonai HaMorach Le'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai HaMarak Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher B'Karbanu Mikol Hamin V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen.
Amen. Vayikra elav malach Adonai min hashamayim vayomer Avraham vayomer hineni vayomer al tishlach yadecha el hanahar ve'al ta'as lo me'uma ki Ata yadati ki Elohim ata velo chasarta et bincha et yechidecha mimeni vayisa Avraham et inav vayar vehine ayil achar ne'echas basava bekarnav Vayilech Avraham vayikach et ha'ayil vaya'alehu le'olah tachat beno vayikra Avraham shem hamakom hahu Adonai yir'eh asher yehamir hayom behar Adonai yir'eh Vayikra Malach Adonai el Avraham shenit min hashamayim Vayomer binishmati ne'um Adonai ki yan asher asita et hadavar hazeh velo chasarta et binacha et yechidecha Ki barich avarechecha, veharba arbe et zaracha kechochavei hashamayim, vechachol asher asafat hayam, vayirash zaracha it sha'ar oyavav, vahit baruchu v'zaracha kol koi haaretz, Ikel asher shamata b'koli Vayashov Avraham el ne'arav Vayakumu Vayilechu yachadav el be'er shava Vayeshev Avraham b'be'er shava
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher natan lanu Torah emet v'kayei olam notah betokenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Earlier in the parsha, Abraham sends Hagar and Ishmael away for the second time, and this time essentially for good. And we don't really hear much more from Ishmael after that either. There's a lot of sort of broken conversations in this week's Torah portion. But what does happen is that next week, Yitzhak and Ishmael come together for the burial of their father. And there's a sense in just a verse or two that somehow there's been a reconciliation between these two, that they, through all of the complicated family dynamics of this first Jewish family, that they somehow conquer that and are able to be with each other and to find wholeness and healing together, even as they mourn the loss of their father. And so with the brokenness that Vayera offers us and the healing that the story continues to offer us in the weeks to come, we pray that those in our community who are in need of healing, whether of body or mind or spirit, that they find the healing that they need in whatever form they need. We are particularly mindful of Debbie Pissarak, Joanne Blumberg, Valentina Wolfson, Hillary Hanwerger, Jake Waxman, Bridget Ford, Joel Berger, Margaret Leslie, Steve Gill, Stacy Young, Sydney Uzum, Barry Hopkins, Julie Lambert, Buddy Tepper, Carrie Thorpe, Rachel Charson-Tunk, David Seidenstecker, Terry Logan, Carol Morgan, Irving Borowitz, Dick Jordanson, Shelley Schwartz, Margaret Pooler, and Melissa Dorfman. If there are other names to add to our list for healing, please do so as my eyes meet yours.
Page 371.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu mekor habracha lavotenu. Bless those
Does anybody feel like lifting a really heavy and lopsided Torah?
Well, when you put it that way.
If I can do it, but if somebody else wants to do it, Avishai, you want to do it? Please. Ya'amod Hamagbiya. Please rise.
Kizot HaTorah Asher Sad Moshe Livnei Bnei Yisrael Al Pi Adonai B'Yad Moshe Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai 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 Yai Lai Shalom, Shalom, Hashivenu Adonai, Elecha B'Noshuva, Chadesh Yameinu, Kekedem.
Thank you. Please be seated. The door, it opened slowly. My father, he came in. I was 9 years old. And he stood so tall above me. His blue eyes, they were shining, and his voice was very cold. He said, I've had a vision, and you know I'm strong and holy. I must do what I've been told. So he started up the mountain. I was running, he was walking, and his axe was made of gold. Well, the trees, they got much smaller. The lake, a lady's mirror. We stopped to drink some wine. Then he threw the bottle over, broke a minute later. And he put his hand on mine. Thought I saw an eagle, but it might have been a vulture. I never could decide. Then my father built an altar, and he looked once behind his shoulder. He knew I would not hide. You who build these altars now to sacrifice these children, you must not do it anymore. A scheme is not a vision, and you never have been tempted by a demon or a god. You who stand above them now, your hatchets blunt and bloody, you were not there before, when I lay upon a mountain, and my father's hand was trembling with the beauty of the word. And if you call me brother now, forgive me if I inquire, just according to whose plan? When it all comes down to dust, I will kill you if I must. I will help you if I can. When it all comes down to dust, I will help you if I must. I will kill you if I can. And mercy on our uniform, man of peace or man of war. The peacock spreads his fan. Leonard Cohen. I was born into a middle-class home in Indianapolis, Indiana, in the spring of 1981, and I thought history had ended. I grew up knowing about hatred, racism, anti-Semitism, but it felt distant to me. These were concepts rarely actual manifestations in my life. Through the 90s, as I reached adolescence, history happened, but not near me. I started hearing about global warming, that I needed to reduce, reuse, recycle. In my senior year of high school, I was living in Southern California. Columbine happened. It felt far away. And then 9/11 and wars, still today. A black president elected, and still there are innocent black men and women dead in the street. The Messiah had not arrived. And hatred spilled off the page into the streets and tweets. I was born into a middle-class home in Indianapolis, Indiana in the spring of 1991, and I thought history had ended. The truth is, I've only realized my power in the last few years, when the policies of our government so profoundly and publicly assault my moral, ethical, and religious sensibilities. I dive into my soul's reservoir of power and hope, letting that buoy me and move me to action. Jewish tradition teaches that God did not create the world in the beginning, then completed creation after 7 days. No. Creation happens every single day. The way the world is today is not the way the world needs to be tomorrow. Each moment is full of infinite possibilities. The only limit is our imagination and creativity. No, God did not create the world in 7 days. The world is being created before our eyes. And the best part is, we get to be partners in that creation. We don't have to be satisfied with what was or how things are today. We can create our future. This is the very reason we exist, to be partners in the creation of a perfected world. The prophet Micah tells us how to do this, to do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly with your God. It is a world in which we don't have to worry about misogyny, racism, Islamophobia, anti-Semitism, or hatred of any kind. A world in which we don't have to wonder if our children or grandchildren will survive the climate crisis. I was born into a middle-class home in Indianapolis, Indiana in the spring of 1981, and I thought history had ended. Now I know we're all living during a time that will be covered in high school history books. The time of the digital revolution, of democracy tested. This is our moment. This is our moment, and it is on each of us to dig a well like Abraham of power, and find our truth to bring to this moment. Martin Buber, in his 1950 book, The Way of Man, writes, "Every one of us, each in their own fashion, should create something that is new. Let us not do what has been done already. Rather, let us do what is yet to be done. Every individual is obligated to know and to contemplate that their nature is unique in the world, that none other in the world has ever been identical to them. Had there been someone exactly like them before, there would be no need for their existence. Every individual is a new entity in the world and must strive to perfect their individual nature in this world. Indeed, the coming of the Messiah is delayed because this ideal has not yet been realized. With every person, something new is placed into the world, something that has never existed before, something that is original and unique." And it is that originality, that complicated nature of human being, that leaves me enthralled every year when I read this week's Torah portion, Vayera. The juxtaposition of a man in Abraham who is willing to call out to the King of Kings, the judge of all the earth, when he hears of injustice being perpetrated on the world. When God tells Abraham of the coming destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, Abraham rebukes God, asking God to spare the cities for the sake of 50 righteous people, then for the sake of 45, then 40, 30, 20, and finally 10. Won't God save the cities for the sake of 10 righteous people? In this interaction between Abraham and God, we encounter the first activist, the paradigm of speaking truth to power. No, the cities are not saved in the end. There are too few righteous people there. But we leave the scene hopeful and impressed with Abraham. So how could this person, Abraham, stand up for hundreds of people he did not know in Sodom and Gomorrah, yet fail to stand up for his own son Isaac when God asks Abraham to sacrifice Isaac just a few verses practically later? We are intentionally left confused, exasperated, bewildered. Is this the same Abraham? Yes. It is the same Abraham, the same very human Abraham. Our sages offer many thoughts on Abraham's willingness to sacrifice his son. It was a test, they tell us, the last of Abraham's trials. God never actually wanted Abraham to go through with it. And we modern Jews ask, how could God even suggest such a thing? What does that request suggest about God? Others ask what this says about Abraham. What kind of father is he? Our sages would never say what I'm about to say. In Abraham, we find a fallible human being. At one moment, seeing justice so clearly, and in another moment, utterly falling down. No parent wants to sacrifice their child, but parents do it all of the time. We judge Abraham for taking his son up the mountain, but we sacrifice children every day. We sacrifice children to get a raise. We sacrifice children in marriages we remain in, even when we know they should end. We sacrifice children through addictions. No parent wants to sacrifice their child, but we do it all the time. Should Abraham have listened to God? No, I wish he had not, but I don't judge him for doing so. Vayera is a reminder for us to notice the moment. Some of us are more willing to stand up for others and rarely stand up for ourselves. And some of us are more willing to stand up for ourselves and rarely stand up for others. Abraham, God, life, they teach us that this is a false dichotomy. We must do our best to stand up for others and ourselves. Maybe anything less is murder. I was born into a middle-class home in Indianapolis, Indiana in the spring of 1981, and I thought history had ended. I thought maybe I'd have to stand up for myself with peers, but I never thought I would be called on to stand up for myself in any significant way. And I never thought I would be called on to stand up for others. As we've seen, history has not ended. The story continues. From Sodom and Gomorrah, the binding of Isaac, to today. Man of peace or man of war, the peacock spreads his fan. Shabbat shalom. We continue on page 586. Please rise if you're able.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tzeit gdula liyotzeh b'reshit, shelo asanu k'kei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpechot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei
591.
V'ne'emar v'haya Adonai v'melech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. There are stars up above, so far away. We only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We are in the first 30 days of mourning, the period of Shloshim for Perry Stahl, Karen Simon, Ward Bissell, and Doris Steinberg. Our yard sites this week are for Samuel Barenbaum, Edward Bernstein, Maria Fabian, William Glassner, Louis Goldman, Abe Greenstone, Joseph Hume, Rebecca Kaplan, Lena Kuttner, Tom Lesueur, Anna Lindenberg, Ruth Marks, Ruth Milch, Jack Miller, Samuel Miller, Yetta Pollack, Audrey Safran, David Savashinsky, Bernard Siegel, Miriam Shapiro, Morris Smith, Elsie Solomon, Morris Solomon, Aaron Taylor, Anna Vanek, Molly Baghdad, Walter Baghdad, and Benjamin Baghdad. If there are other names to add to our list for mourning, please do so as my eyes meet yours. For all of those mentioned, for all of those who go unmentioned, and for all of those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, we rise, page 598. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shmei Rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uvyomechon u'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala v'yizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'olam olamei almaya, Yitbarach, v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar, v'yitromam, v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar, v'yit'aleh, v'yithalal, shemei v'kudusha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushmechata v'nechemata, damiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom meromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru. Amen.
Oseh shalom imromav, Hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru. Amen.
Zichronam livracha, may their memories be forever a blessing.
Amen.
Please be seated. It's my honor to invite back to our bima Stephanie Newell.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank the rabbi and the cantor for wonderful service, Dave for great music, Esther and Murray Rosenthal back there somewhere for ushering did a great job. As always, we have a lot of things going on. So one additional thing I was asked to mention, there are 14 spaces
14, yeah.
left in the civil rights trip in the spring. If people are interested, they should contact the office.
You should have
Or
received emails,
Alan,
and it's in
or-
our weekly email to sign up.
It's in the weekly
yeah.
emails? Okay. Other things coming up next weekend, Danny Messeng, so that should be great, and a great concert as well as service. The Artie Pie Sale, don't forget the Artie Pie Sale is coming up, and you can order pies through Tuesday. Other things going on. Rev Thanksgiving service this year is on Tuesday night, not Wednesday, so make sure to keep that in mind. That's always a great service. WTB Hanukkah Bazaar is coming up. Please come and support us. And what am I missing? Rotating shelter needs help as always every year. So please contact Noreen DeYoung for that. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat shalom. Trina, Annette, yeah. Trina. York. York. Yeah. It's really good hummus. Yeah. I mean, come for the hummus, and the people too, and the company. I also just want to mention on the upcoming events. It's not our event, and it's not happening here, but the New Israel Fund is sponsoring Professor Naomi Chazan, who's coming in on Sunday, November 24th at 7 p.m. at Beth Israel. I'm going to be doing the Q&A with her, so come to support me if you don't want to support her or NIF. But it'll be very interesting. She's a remarkable woman who's been involved in the peace movement in Israel for many, many years, and was the president. I think the president. She had a leadership role in NIF for many years. But it'll be a great night. So do consider joining us for that as well. Any other remarks?
If you have nothing better to do tomorrow night, there's going to be a classical concert here in our sanctuary.
Cool.
It's going to be chamber music and string music, and it's primarily students from the School of Music, Theater, and Dance. Not my student, but it should be a wonderful program, and it's going to be the first of a Genesis concert series that John from St. Clair's and I are sponsoring. So come and help us make it successful.
Great. Is there a cost?
No, it is free. If you want to give a donation, we'll accept it, but it's free.
Awesome. Thank you. Kiddush and Motzi. If you think of yourself as a young person.
Or if you just want to come up and join us.
Please join us. Please join us on the Bima for Kiddush and Motzi. Do you think of yourself as a young person? Sure. Anybody else, though? Anybody else? Okay. Molly's going to get to eat the entire challah. We're not there yet, though. Keep it covered. We're not there yet. All right. At the very beginning of everything, when God created the heaven and the earth, God made a separation between the sea above and the sea below, and God planted plants on the earth, and put the sun and the moon and the stars in the sea above, and then put the fish and sea monsters in the sea below, and the flying creatures in the sea above, and then created the creepy crawly things to crawl all over the earth. Then finally he created human beings at the end of the sixth day and said, now it's time to rest.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen
Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reshit ki hu yom techila lemikra'e kodesh zecher l'tziat Mitzrayim ki banu v'acharta v'yotanu kidashta mikol ha'amim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uvratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh hashabbat lechaim. The person who drank from the Kiddush cup at Shabbat was sick, so I'm not going to drink from it. So next week. I'll give it a week.
Good idea. We'll scrub it this week.
There's wine and grape juice in the social hall. All right.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon.
Share with all the other young people, okay? Yes. All right. Thanks, Miles.
So we conclude our service with Oseh Shalom.
Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Amen. Oseh Shalom, Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Ve'al kol Yisrael amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Please don't forget to take your Siddurim with you as you exit the sanctuary.